Eli Manning has always been class personified. He's always been a consummate professional. He's never shortchanged New York fans or football fans anywhere in terms of his effort, his commitment to excellence, the things that he tried to do and going about doing things the right way. He's a phenomenal human being. And we often look at Archie Manning, his wonderful family, and obviously we come down to Peyton and Eli, and we call them the first family of football. And the way that Peyton Manning and Eli Manning have conducted themselves throughout their career validates why they are held in such high regard. And so we saw nothing this morning with his press conference that deviates from that. A matter of fact, when you take into account that, you root for this man to be in the Hall of Fame someday. You're tempted to lean on the 2 Super Bowl titles and say, you know what? There's plenty of people in the Hall of Fame that doesn't have the numbers that definitively support them being in the Hall of Fame. So if Eli Manning was to get into the Hall of Fame someday, I'm certainly not going to be averse to that. But when you talk about first ballot Hall of Famers and how they're looked upon, my only thing is that numbers over the course of his entire career don't speak to first ballot Hall of Fame numbers. But clearly, he's a first ballot individual without question. He's one of the classiest professional athletes I've ever seen in my life, and I'm incredibly happy that he's ended his career healthy with all his faculties in order, and obviously can go on with his life. And I think we'll see him in television as well, because he has an incredible personality, and I think it's going to show itself on television someday in the very, very near future.
Well, first of all, I do think he'll make the Hall of Fame. Again, just to reiterate, if you're an Iron Man for 15 years, third longest consecutive game played streak, that's because you're good enough to play and you're always available to your team. So when you say he's a compiler, top 10 passing yards and touchdowns and all those kind of things, you have to be really good to be a compiler. That's the first thing. Second thing, he made 4 Pro Bowls. Third thing, he has the pelts of Alex Smith, Tony Romo, Matt Ryan, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady twice on his wall to win 2 Super Bowl MVPs, by the way. So, I do think he's going to make the Hall of Fame. And I'm sitting here arguing that guy doesn't buy a drink around me. I'm a Giants fan. He gave me the greatest sports memories I could of any sport I root for. That said, I got to say 2 things about what he said that I'm like, huh? Okay. Listen, if we can go at Michael Jordan at his Hall of Fame induction, we can go at Eli Manning a little bit. Look, 1, no regrets. Damn, I wish I was one of these people who could look back at any 15-year period of my life, professionally or otherwise, and I had no regrets. To me, that seems like someone who's not doing a lot of self-reflecting. That's number 1. Number 2, calling the fans unique, I thought was a sour note, actually.
Stop!
Because what he's saying.
He said he loved them.
And I love you for it. He says, you're unique. And I love you for it.
Have you seen Giants Twitter?
No doubt.
It is unique,
right,
to say the least.
But the point is, it's not unique about, Lawrence Taylor. You know, in other words, the reason he feels that way is there was a lot of negative stuff about Eli,
of course,
which speaks to his detractors about the Hall of Fame, saying, well, you too often were not an elite-type player or even an above-average player. And for him to bring that up in his Hall of Fame speech, rather than just say, there was a way to do it with a softer touch, I feel, about the fans, and he betrayed something.
I feel like he's subtly.
I am that guy.
Don't be that guy.
I get paid to be that guy. I got to just.
I don't feel that way at all.
I feel like he subtly also addressed
I don't feel that way at
the
all.
ups and downs of his career by saying, I choose to stay with the good echoes and the good memories. It was a subtle moment there where he was
Giants
for those debaters.
Are unique.
Yeah.
They are. Let's just call it what it is.
They're unique to you? Or they just like you, right?
No. They're unique in the whole community of sports fans.
We could say what we want about Terrell Owens. Lord knows I've had my issues with him. But there is no question that he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. There is no question that it should not have been subjective. It should have been very pragmatic and objective in terms of number 2, number 3 all time in 6 different wide receiver categories. I mean, the only 2 receivers that you could definitively say were better, and I couldn't say definitively, only one was Jerry Rice. Arguably, the other one would be Randy Moss, etc. And still, somehow, some way, he had to wait. One of the things that we do in our society when it comes to sports and the Hall of Fame is strongly and vehemently object to the subjectivity that comes with the Hall of Fame voting, because they try to tell us this is the criteria, but then they don't follow it. So what I'm trying to do is say, hey, I want to follow it. Is whatever you tell me it is, as a Hall of Fame voter or as a Hall of Fame player or as a football player that judges Hall of Fame talent, etc., whatever you tell me it is, I'm willing to capitulate to it, but at least be consistent with what you say it is. And that, to me, is something that we should speak about because of the subjectivity that takes place, not just go along with it. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.